Hello everyone, my name is Link from Dimension X and welcome to Building 101. Today we are talking about roofs and I'm not going to show you too many just because they are going to be taking a little bit more time than normal just to show you the different ways they look mostly from the exterior. A couple of them I'll show you how they look from the interior just because it's a little different. And also given all the angles and stuff, it's just going to take a little longer, so less to show but more to explain, I guess. So let's get going with first one, which I call this my basic. It really isn't much. It is just slab, stair, slab, stair, slab, going in a pyramid formation. The only thing that makes this different from that is this, and it just gives a better flow, in my opinion, makes a more smooth transition. Altogether, this one is pretty basic. I just showed a square. You can do this with more complicated shapes such as L's, which I'll show you now. Only this one, I didn't do that. This is the one that you'll see most people use. Why did I leave this one second and that one first? Because when I was building these, I built the one that I normally build first. Because it's what I normally do. I was not thinking completely. But this one, it isn't. You can build anything in an L shape almost. However, there are certain buildings that you gotta be very careful and build very specifically if you want to try an L. But I just wanted to show you that any of these that I'm showing you can have an L shape or even a T shape if you want to. It just, you might have to think outside the box a little bit for some of the additions. This one I actually wanted to show you on the inside because it doesn't look too much different than that, but you can put stairs on the inverse, such as this way. It eats up more space, but you can, and it'll make it feel a little more crowded if you want to, or you can do it like this. Feels boxier, but also more open. And those are the two very, very basic ones that I will highly recommend for almost anyone. And now we're getting to what I consider the first of the two really weird ones. This one is I call it the Japanese style. It is seen on, you can see it looks similar to some of the Japanese style houses and the roofs on them. I didn't do too much with the wood. I just used a single one just to make it a little more basic. The main thing is you have these kind of round a bit type. Typically they're round in real life, but you can only get so round in Minecraft. But they kind of go up after divoting down a bit. And it is really interesting because typically I would put a lantern under each of these to have it give light. And if you want to put the roof somewhere, all you gotta do is do that. And then you can build this out a little bit. And that'll be your doorway goes. I just built these on the ground because, again, a little bit easier for me. And I can show you these bit of designs that I'm going to show you. Another thing at the top, you always want it to be odd. So that way you can have these middle bits where it curves like this at the top. That is something else that's typically seen on Japanese style buildings. I don't build with these much, but on the inside, you'll see that it actually creates a really interesting shape design. And your walls would go immediately under not these ones, but this row. and so it would overhang by one on each side, which I always love a good overhang but all in all, not too difficult. Gonna try to show you some of the other angles of this. Since the overhang is down here, though, you don't have to worry about all of this overhang up here, because this also overhangs, given that this is going to be your exterior wall. Altogether, not too much going on. And now we got this monstrosity. This, I'm going to consider the barn roof, just because I live in an area with quite a few farms and barns, and this looks a lot like those, in my opinion at least. There is quite a bit of weirdness with their shape. Like, I build these all the time, but it's just the shape of is so weird, because you have this one row where it's higher. It's kind of the inverse of that one over there, only on one row. And I think it's to give it more of a high feel. And when you come on the inside, you can kind of tell that. Again, I built these on the ground for ease, but looking up, it gives you a bit of a higher look. And so, I don't know, maybe that has something to do with how architects thought at the time. I don't know. But this is typically what I would build for like a barn. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that was short. That was because I was just showing you these ones. Let's look at a few real examples of things that I've built. So, we're actually going to start going with something from the very first episode, doing a compare and contrast. And so you know, everything that I've been building for this is in one world. And eventually, once I'm done, I will put this world on a download and let you all view it. So, this is the first one that I did, just birch. And what I like about it is on the inside, this is how it looks. It doesn't look too weird. And you can have some form of block light. I like frog lights since they came out. And it'll light up this entire room no matter what. Which one you use, I believe. Except for, I think, the copper bulb if you use one of the dimmer ones, but that is compared to a flat roof, which for this, the lighting is on the sides, or you have a weird block in the middle on top, which you can do, I guess. But let's look at a few other examples in my testing world. Alrighty, we are now in my testing world, and you will see that I have built quite a few other ones, and this is what I done. I did what I normally did, only I decided to add an additional set of stairs to give it a more layered feel. So when you're looking at it from the ground, it looks like it's just a normal stairs, but when you look at it from the top, you can see it looks more like a drop in between here and here, which was just an interesting idea I had. I wasn't even sure I was going to keep it, but I like how it looks. And so this was going off of my design that I typically use for roofs. You can see up here I just did the basic design that I normally do, and then up here I did the same. However, I did try to do something fun down here as well. Here are my redstone tests, seeing what all fits in this. This is eventually going to be built on my main world, my forever world, Dimension X. But here I used mostly slabs and went wide, so it's more elongated rather than tall. I did this just because it didn't feel right to go from here to up here and removing any chance of windows right here, because this is built to be my kind of storage area and stuff, and then that's my big farm. Not much room for windows. I figured right here would be perfect for a couple. However, if this went up all the way, then I wouldn't have been able to put them in. So I had to find something creative, I'm going to call it, but definitely interesting nonetheless. And you'll see how I've kind of blended these roofs into the walls and such. Like I used shelves for this wall, and these blend in pretty nicely by flowing up and then flowing here and then changing to be the windowsill color. And that's a big thing. You gotta think, okay, how is this going to flow into this other part? And right here, for example, that's why I'm been thinking about myself. And so I'm like, okay, where's the next floor level? Right here. So I don't have to worry about this becoming too much of a difference in wall. But then I get over here. Am I going to continue that floor? So I'm just trying to think, okay, how am I going to do this? And this is something that I've noticed with roofs, that people typically just go, okay, I'll throw something that looks good for now and then figure it out later. And that's how I've been doing it. But that's all I really wanted to show you today. Not a long video. Truth be told, life kind of got in the way, and there was a big jump between the last clip and this one. Truth be told, and I was planning on getting more things done here, but sadly I couldn't. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless. Please let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'll probably do a part 2 with even more of these eventually, just to kind of cover what I couldn't cover because of loss of time. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you leave a comment, hit the like button for me please, subscribe so that way you know when I'm uploading videos, and goodbye.